Onto the Discord side of things now. So some thoughts and uses around that. Um, you're probably all quite familiar with Discord. So our main use for Discord, aside from obviously the indie program, is for during playtests. So we actually manage our community and sort of the players that we have in the funnel separately through different systems. But Discord itself, we use it for actual playtesting. We use it for multiple events of many different varieties, be it multiplayer events, high security events where it's a one-on-one with the player, um, like group multiplayer stuff, just individual playtesting, but having them all there so we can provide them with instruction and so on. The possibilities are endless. To be quite cliche, it can also be used in a number of different cases. So, like for different things. So, if you have a community in your Discord, you can have like bug reporting channels. You can have one-to-one interviews with your players. You can, as I've mentioned, you can run multiplayer tests, etc. I don't think I have to advertise Discord to you. You're probably quite aware of it. Something to be aware of is obviously your settings. So I've found it incredibly useful for things like um, role assignment by category is one of the biggest ones for me. Obviously, permissions is a given. Um, one of the things that I've done before is like I've run. There was a test we ran where it had a setup similar to Destiny Strikes, and what I mean by that is multiplayer events were groups of three. So each player was in a. It was quite hard to differentiate which player was in which group, but we were able to organize it so that each group of three had their own little Discord section, which had a voice channel, Q&A channel, and a tech support lobby. And the permissions by category really helped out with that. It can also be used with our platform. So, what things you can do is if you have a community in Discord, you can send them an invitation link. If you have keys on the platform, it'll only distribute the amount of keys that you've got on there. Can use simultaneously, so there's no like problems with if you're using your microphone on our app, it won't interfere with Discord. You can still chat away on Discord and things like that. It's quite handy for that respect. The amount of tests that we've ran where it's run simultaneously, and we can see the Discord itself, and we can see ourselves talking. It's quite surreal at times, to be honest. But you can't hear yourself because you can only hear the participant's microphone, which is handy. Um, but yeah, it can be used alongside quite well. One thing I would always recommend is thinking and planning on how you intend to use Discord, and then build a server around that plan. Maybe you want to use it for your whole every aspect of your community, through announcements, through maybe live streaming nights, or like allocating demos, or shout outs, or whatever the case may be. Maybe community competitions. I don't know. Or you want to use it for testing. Think about your flow of your tests. So I'm going to invite people in. We're going to have a conversation. Then I'm going to distribute the test. Then I'm going to get them to play for 30 minutes. Then we're going to reconvene and talk a little bit more. Then I'm going to get them to play for another 30 minutes. Um, uh, Biggest thing, the best thing you can do is plan, and then sort of work out like a flow as to how you want it to work. I have a few. This is like an example of that particular event that I was talking about. So this is what the initial sidebar looked like. So we have a briefing channel. This is sort of the main setup we use, which is like your initial briefing messages, reminders of time, reminders of when the event day is, so on and so forth. And initially, our participants can only ever see this room. Then, whenever the event starts, we bring them into the preparation role, which enables them to see the preparation category. So there's a Q&A section for any questions and answers pre or during the test. Info and setup, so additional information, participation links, anything else that they need to know, all goes in there. Preparation, so this is a briefing lobby for before the test begins. So typically we would bring everybody into the same room. We would have them have their mics muted and their cameras off, purely for the fact that bringing upwards of 30 to 40 people into one room can get a little bit scary, a little bit noisy. People are generally quite respectful in that way, in terms of, at least that's what we find. They typically appreciate the opportunity, so they won't really go off on a tangent on their own, unless but we've had the odd exception to the rule. But um, they'll come in, sit quietly, do their thing, but we would typically have them automatically muted as a precursor. Tech support. So we would always have a tech support room, and that's a member of the team can jump into at any time to triage. Discord's incredible for this. The fact that you can share your screen, you can view their video, you can chat away to them, you can share your own screen, and you can also move people about. You might already be aware, but if you grab somebody, if you're the Discord, if you're a server moderator or you run a server, if you grab someone and left click on them and drag them, you can move them to a different room in Discord. Super handy. During the heat of a test in a preparation lobby, it can often get lost where it's like, okay, jump into that tech support lobby for me, and they're still sitting in the room. Be super handy for me to just, whenever I'm running an event, just be like, I'm going to put you into that lobby now, and grab them and drag them in and drop them in, and then I message one of my team, like, look, can you jump into support lobby 1, please? There's somebody that needs help, and they'll jump in, triage the problem, and get them back into the main room as quickly as they can. And then playing is where the participants can join in there. If it's a single player event, I would just have one playing room. If it's a multiplayer event, depending on the setup, I would have multiple different groups, different setups, etc. It depends on the game itself and how it's going to run.